Till my headphones went out. I've been thinking. I don't got no charger. Ooh, yeah, I got to have it too. But this ain't gonna go good. Yes, sir. Cause you know this is my writing utensil. Boom, 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 ba-dum, ba-da-doo. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, boom, ba-dum, ba-da-doo.
ROJAY is the way you
I've been thinking a lot about everything we've been dreaming. Will we ever make it out of this season? Where we seem like we're defeated and we taking beatings and life keeps repeating. So I get on my knees to pray and ask the Lord why would you give us all these gifts and then hang them out to dry? I would think that you would only want the best for us, but everything is at its worst and we can't take no more.
I don't think it's right, he's done nothing wrong.
So you telling me that we're in control of it?
Let's look at ourselves, we're the ones that fall.
We gotta step it up and get on with it. Let's do this. It's time to stop making excuses. Let's suck it up and go make it happen. The only thing that you never have is what you grab. The only thing that you never have is what you grab. Let's do this. It's time to stop making excuses. Let's suck it up and go make it happen. The only thing that you never have is what you grab. The only thing that you never have is what you grab. Oh, we cooking with drinks.
Sorry.
You good, baby?
Let me get where I'm at. What did you say? Let me hear it. I'm gonna say all right. Well, he's starting it.
What do you want me to go? I'm gonna start at 61 every time from now on.
Okay.
All right, you good, baby? Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I can see it, how to achieve everything we've been dreaming. But first of all, babe, you gotta believe it. Tap into what's in the inner, just keep thinking bigger. Remember you're a winner, now stop acting like the end game is just magic. Don't you think this is predestined? God prepared us for this madness. You've been tested, tried and passed it. Take them hits like you a savage. Hold your head up, babe, don't panic. If we work hard, we will have it.
Let's do this. It's time to stop making excuses. Let's suck it up and go make it happen. Let's do this. It's time to stop making excuses. Let's suck it up and go make it happen. The only thing that you never have is what you grab. The only thing that you never have is what you grab. Till next time, we out.
Bye, you guys.
All right. This a spot, ain't it? Come on, content.
That ain't crazy. Look.
That's actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through those real quick and show my.
Shoot! I be like, man, all these snaps. They be like,
There
blink,
it
blink,
is.
blink.
It's in the sampler. We can go ahead and just like that. Done. Thank you guys
Yes.
so much. Really.
I be pissed off.
All right. Aside from,
You
and
can
as
go
you
through the
guys
sounds
can
of some
see,
of what
I
we
can
play.
go right in here
Yes.
and I can go to my snares. And when I
Dwayne, I know where to go. I found this. Like a drummer. Like a drummer. Add the triangle and the wah, second half. That's the one. Oh, Jesus. That's a body.
Everybody, now, come on in the room, come on this stream, come on this live. It's about to go down. It's about to be lit. It's about to be awesome. We got something special for you today. Yes, I am not ROJAY. I am Steve Pender, but it's all right. He's coming up, but I need you to hit the share button right now. You don't want to miss what's about to happen because we don't even know what's about to happen, but it's about to be crazy in this joint. Yeah! Hit the share button. Say, yo, Steve Pender, ROJAY, they on live. Tell them, get in here. We got organ going on. We got keys going on. We got listen, it's about to be crazy. Yo, get on the live. Shout out to Juicy Ears. Yeah, buy you a pair. Yeah, Juicy Ears. But we about to, listen, it's about to happen right now. I need you to hit the share button to as many people as you can reach right now. Do that for me. Where you at? I see you. Come on in the room. Come on. I see you in the room. Come on. We're gonna start this offering off at $10 right now. Come on. I see you. Come on in the room. Come on. Share. All right. Share button. Come on. I know y'all. Listen, it's gonna be good. This about to be great.
Oh, yeah.
It's about to go down.
Hey, we in there. What up? Steve, you did a great job. Your open was amazing.
Well, when you've been doing in the entertainment industry for as long as I've been in, it just comes natural.
Hey, I got us some batteries. Perfect. What up, y'all? What up? Hey, I want you to do what you was just playing, though, Steve.
Which
2,
one?
1, 2, 1. What mic am I? 2.
15.
And then you. 2, 2, 1. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me.
Where my phone at?
And then Steve. I think y'all can hear Steve too.
Can you hear me?
We in there.
Ooh, Lord, yeah.
All right, Steve, play that song you was just playing, though.
All right, hold on. I got to share it myself. I don't want to be a bad steward. Yep.
You gonna play. I just wanted to make sure I'm on.
Well, I can't play without you playing. Come on now.
Oh, you gonna play by yourself, man.
All right, Lord Jesus.
We in here, though.
The
Can
people
y'all
up
see
here?
us? Can
Y'all
y'all
up
hear
here?
us?
Is everybody up
Jesus'
here?
name. Yeah, we in there. Yeah, you can hear us. Because I just heard us on Steve's phone. Hey, play the organ. Let's see if they can hear the organ.
All right.
Y'all let us know if y'all can hear the organ. Sheesh.
Let me share this.
He's sharing the live. Y'all wait.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. Join in.
Hey, I can see you responding tonight, Mary.
Ask your questions.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, we got to get Q&A about organ. Organ Q&A with organ. Q&A.
Listen, doesn't matter what your friends like. Doesn't matter.
So, Steve, I'm gonna start by asking you some questions real quick.
All right.
When you first started playing, I think we talked about this on the podcast, but were you when you started playing keys, were you introduced to the organ at first?
So, that's a good question. I actually started mainly on drums at first, to be honest. I did play keys, but drums was like what I was doing at the church, but it was too many drummers, so I was like, let me get on the organ because ain't nobody playing. But I was playing drums more than I was playing keys, but I was good at keys. Oh, I mean, gotta make sure I get it right. So I was good at keys, but I was like, I like organ. I just like the way organ sounds. Like ain't nobody playing this organ, so I might as well sit up, play it. So I got on the organ and it was amazing.
Yeah. Did you told me about Tam, right?
Yep.
That was the first person you saw.
Tamis Williams. Listen, she was one of the first organists I've ever seen in my life. She's actually my cousin, by the way, but my father, Stevie Pender, he plays bass and guitar and keys and whatever he touches. And he played in this group called Bishop Herbert Williams and the Joyful Uplifters.
Yes, Lord.
Rest in peace, Bishop Herbert Williams.
Yeah.
And they would have rehearsals, and of course, me and my little sister, we had to go because we couldn't stay at home by ourselves. So we went to rehearsals, and before rehearsal, because everybody didn't show up to rehearsal on time. My dad loved being on time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he show up early, and I'm like, so he show up early, and like she'll be coming in, and she'll like, you can play the organ you want to. We still waiting on everybody else to get here. So I get on the organ, and I was like, matter of fact, this is my first song.
Crank it up, Steve. Miracle,
Yes, sir. So that was the first song like I really learned, especially with the diminished. I was like, yo, you couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, I was killing that diminished, boy. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like,
So was that the first time? Was that is that when you first learned the diminished chord?
no. That's the thing. It was just because I heard that song. I was like, I gotta play that. That one passage. It was just like we all know when we hear that joint in the song, like that's like the heartbeat of the whole song. Like,
Yes.
All the well, he go, talk about the time. You know what I'm saying? Like yo. So I had to learn it. But my first chord actually was surprisingly, most people would C major,
Yes.
right? But then I started like hearing other stuff like cause my dad has a habit. He'll add a second to ninth. He'll be like,
Yes.
or he'll make it a sus, or he'll be like,
Yes.
Like, so my dad will do that, or so then like you got organs like Junebug, he'll do open so like start. But when I heard my dad do that, like I was like, yo, that's amazing. Like, can you show me that chord? So he got on, he had this chord like M something. And he was like, I was like, yeah, Dad, all right, Dad. He was like, put your fingers there. He was like, I was like, yeah. He was like, I was like, that's it, Dad. He was like, yeah. He said, and then you could do this. I said, oh. And he said, then you could do this. And he was like, take it up. And then that's when, after that, it was like,
How old were you, bro?
So, and after that, it was a wrap. Like, I just practiced all the time, took over his keyboard.
How old were you when he first showed you that first chord?
4.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Now, I started playing it too. Like melodies. Like, I listened to the classical station all the time when I was a little kid, so I would follow like the melodies, like all that other stuff. Like, I would learn little stuff like that. But like, I started learning like how music made sense at 4. Like, it started really connecting the dots and making musical phrases, via piano.
Yeah.
Then I started hearing organ, and I was like, yo.
So, do you remember the first church service you played in on organ?
Because honestly, it felt like I was doing it all alone.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, before I started playing organ at my grandfather's church, like, there would be times I would sit in the congregation because I had got too late to play the drums. They got early, and
So if you didn't get there early,
you won't gonna play. Cause matter of fact, in my day, like when I was coming up, like if you got to church, you better not go use the bathroom. Cause if you do, somebody get known. Cause don't let nobody start shouting. And ain't no drummer out there. They be like, hold on. Get on. I'm like, yo. So man, so it would be a lot of Sundays, like, and plus like we had like the church drummer, so it didn't matter how late you was when the church drummer got there. It ain't matter. You get up and he gonna play. So at the time, our church drummer was Shelton Rogers.
Yeah.
Yo, he was left-handed drummer too, by the way. So he would kill. So like Shelton be there, I be mad. I used to be mad with Shelton. Like, yo, why you here today? Like, I don't want you to play. Right?
Yeah.
And then but it'll be many Sundays I'll sit in like on the front row,
Yeah.
had my little clip-on tie on, stuff like that. Cause we had to wear ties, like we had to
So you
dress
had
for
to clip
church.
on. You had to clip on.
But I'll be staring at the organ and like all those services going on. In my mind, I'm visualizing myself on the organ playing as services going. So like I really can't give you a definitive like date
Yeah.
when I started playing, because in my mind I've been playing organ all along.
Yeah, that's good. So then you finally start to get your chance to play.
Yes, sir. So I got my chance. And this thing though, because nobody else, most of the people played like they transpose or whatever, or play their keyboard.
Yes.
So like nobody got on the
ever
organ.
got on the organ.
Cause like we had a B3 like this. We still got it, but it's oak color.
Yeah.
But nobody was it just sat there and collected dust. It stayed closed the whole time. Like
Jeez.
I like,
So
man, let me
you
open
went-
this thing.
You were like, I'ma play what nobody else is playing. So I don't never gotta
I ain't
compete
got
with
never
nobody.
got to compete with nobody. Listen, I say, you ain't gonna get me off of this. And then what would happen, like we would have services and I'll be playing, the guest churches come, they're like, the musicians come like, hey, can you play with us? You sit in with us? I'm like, sure, oh my. And we moved, because our church used to be on New Street in Wilson.
Yeah.
So then when we moved to Pender Street, where my
Which is
where
a
our
crazy
church
coincidence.
is now,
That's y'all
right?
last name.
Ain't that something? I'll tell y'all that story later, because what's amazing is my grandfather knew what a church was before anybody else knew.
Wow.
And everybody in the church had been riding past a lot of our church the entire time and never realized that that's where our next church was going to be.
Jeez.
And he didn't tell anybody but me, my dad, and like a trusted deacon.
Jeez. On Pender Street.
On Pender Street. And it just happened to be on Pender Street. Still there to this day.
Hey, so what's the first hymn that you learned how to play?
Ooh, holy, holy, holy.
Play it, man.
All right, let's see what's
Play the God in three persons again. Okay. That's what I want to talk to you about. That's one of the things I want to
okay.
talk to you about. The in-between.
Okay, like those passing tones. Okay, so. But it's like like a right.
Yes.
But and it's all about knowing who's related to each other. Like,
Yes.
and on organ, that's very important, because most times you, unless you're very fortunate to have a skilled bass player or a bass player who accompany you, either playing by yourself, and you have to be the bass player. So in my mind, I become the bass player with my feet. So I start figuring out how to sub, but you got to know who's related. So the way I, and even in my sessions online with my students, I say, learn your neighbors, learn who's related to each other in regards to numbers. So like if we're in the key of C sharp, like 1 is home, right? So we know that 1 and 4,
Yes.
typical, all right? 1 5, and 5 usually leads back to home. We resolve, or 7.
Yes.
But then when we start talking about turnaround stuff, we know it's going to be a 7 3 6, or 3 6, or 6 2 5 1 to 4. Like those typical turnarounds.
Yes.
So you start learning how to figure out, well, who can I put in between here to get me to where I want to go. So in the instance of like the God in 3 person, because I can go from a 7 to a 3.
But you're still playing the melody though.
Right. Now, that's another thing, organist. And sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. But typically when you play hymns, and this is like something that you should strongly consider, when you're playing hymns, try and put the melody on top. The reason they're doing that is when you start reharming, people don't get lost in the sauce. A lot of times people pay. I don't even know how to do it because I'm so used to doing. But like say they were like, you know what I'm saying, and nobody knows what's going on. See, but when you're playing, you got to actually establish melody, establish what the melody is, and you got to keep it constantly ever present to the listener so that they know how to follow along, and then they have a better appreciation of how you're reharming or giving you a sauce.
Now play it again with the melody on top.
All right, so. Sorry.
Play it one more time. Wait!
That's it, just another 7-3.
Well, what? Okay, where?
Experimenting.
I'm about to ask you, where does the thought to play them chords come from?
Again, okay, so it's easy to go down the rabbit hole when you know who's related to each other. Yeah. If you don't know who's related to each other, you can't experiment.
Now, and I'm gonna tell you this, the crazy thing, and this is a good conversation. This is when being fluent in all your keys helps a lot.
True.
Because you know alternative routes from knowing the relative keys. So a pass in one key sounds complicated, but it's just a simple pass in another key.
That is true. That is true. Because you got to know the fingering, you got to know how to get there.
Yeah.
But this is one thing, and this is what I tell in all my sessions. Once you know who's related and you know the numbers or where to go, the system never changes. It's just a key.
Yes.
Like,
so how did you learn your keys, all your keys? Was it a struggle? Take us through the whole thing. Like, when did you realize, okay, I shouldn't transpose? When did you learn that?
So, interesting you asked. So the first thing was when I started learning, when I really started like getting in the groove, my dad never allowed me to use transpose. Now my dad transposes, but he would kill you in C. You hear me? Listen, he would take your bank, all your money, and C.
He didn't let you do that.
He did not let me do that. And his thing was like, just because. Now, granted, if he plays guitar, which he can kill that too, he'll play in every key. It is, but it was like it was one of them kind of things where this is a new instrument, so I'm gonna get as far as I can, but still be great there because I can play everything else.
Yes.
I mean that was his logic, and it made sense. But he was like, now for you though, I expect that far different because you already got it early. So that was my advantage because I understood music early. Excuse me, and that made it easier for me to hear the keys. But here's my secret. My secret, and a lot of you musicians that are coming up or that are playing, find you a church that still does devotionals. I'm going to tell you what used to happen every Sunday. And I know it was the Lord talking to me because I've been hearing from the Lord all my life since a babe. And like the key, it'll be the key that I'm struggling in. I would hear the Lord say, he was like, they're going to sing every key in that key that day because I want you to master that. Yes. So one week it was like E. And there was one key I hated playing. And it was like, and it'll start like this. They were like, well, I know it must have blood.
You thinking you E flat?
I'm thinking I'm being E flat, and I try and push him up, because I was sweet in F. I know it. It was heavy too. No, it was a blood. Or they're little like, what he doing? I'm like, God. And all that in every, I lie to you not. It could be a song that the choir sung like they knew that key. Like their key was C sharp, right? That Sunday, it was in E. And I'm like, what's going on here? And like and it was one of those kind of things where it was like flight or fight kind of situation. And I'm appreciative of that because it forced me to relax. And this is a tip. Relax, think ahead in regards to the numbers, and don't overplay.
Wow.
Play enough to where it's where your muscle memory starts kicking in, so you become familiar where you can go, and then the next time you can explore and adventure out. But don't start out trying to do all that. No,
So
take
when
your
you
time.
first started in E, you were just like, let me learn the basic
I
changes.
learned. Listen, I learned all the everywhere I was supposed to go, like 4 diminish, especially preaching time. That. All right, I was like, okay, if I can get that, that's church. That's a church element, you know. All right, I got that. Okay, now let's talk about songs. Turn around.
So learning basic stuff and just playing it as simple as possible,
Right.
thinking ahead,
Thinking
know
ahead.
where the song is going, and then just repetition to get familiar with where to go.
And this is the thing. Playing basic does not belittle you. It doesn't make you less of a musician. It doesn't make you less of an organist or whatever you're playing. It gives you the foundation principles that you need to be advanced.
Yes, man.
And like I said months in our interview, like a lot of musicians are top heavy because they want all that extra stuff, but they have nothing to stand on.
Yes, man.
So when it comes time to doing hymns or doing anything that requires basic stuff, they can't do it, or it's not recognizable because you felt like it was beneath you, and it's not. You need something to stand on.
Playing simple is not belittling you as a musician. That's crazy. That's actually what gets the most work, to be honest, because that's what people who enjoy music, whether it's a pastor or a choir, they would rather hear somebody that's playing simple and playing the changes the way the song go.
True.
Versus somebody that's ODing, and like you said, they can't even tell what they supposed to. They like, I don't know that song. I have no clue what that song is.
What was that? Oh, that was in the name of Jesus. It was?
Vincent, let me know if you can hear the organ, man. Hey, let us know if y'all have any questions for Steve too. We're just chopping it up about organ. So church was your introduction, but what denomination was your granddad's church?
Holiness.
Oh, so you in praise break world early.
Oh yeah. Listen, I grew up with that, man. Drums help me with rhythm.
Okay, talk about it.
All right, especially with organ, you gotta have good timing when you're the only bass player, because if your bass is off, then everything is off. You know, like. So like when it was.
So check it out. So I wish we had a camera on your feet. So you're not playing every note.
It depends on the scenario.
Yes, like right now, what you was just doing. All right, now stop playing. Stop playing the top and just play the bass with your feet. I'm booked. Please tell me y'all can hear that.
All right,
Steve,
little
Steve,
stuff.
when in the world did you start running the bass like that?
When I started thinking like a bass player. And this is the
These
thing,
are
because I
bass
didn't want to be
pedals.
so basic. Like my thing was I didn't like, especially playing by yourself. You didn't want to. You got to. When you the organist and you like just the organist and drums, you got to be everything else. So you got to
you keyboard player, guitar player,
guitar,
bass player,
string player, choir. You everything on organ. And so with that being said, especially when it becomes times where you got to be extra percussive. You know, you had to find different approaches, and it can't be the same thing because us as people, period, we don't like hearing the same thing over and over again, or we ignore what it is, and it doesn't give that desired feeling or effect. So learning how to deviate, and even still now, like I feel like sometimes my bass is boring to me because it's not colorful enough, but that's just me being extra picky.
Yeah, because you definitely a beast. Hey, can y'all hear? You can kind of. My wife just texted me and said we can kind of see it. Okay, good. All right.
Oh yeah.
Y'all, Shiy is up in the booth, and we got to talk to her through text in Jesus' name. Alex, what up, man? So I want you to take me through the process of you when you first started learning preaching chords. What was the first key you started in?
C. Well, no, that's not true. My granddaddy, he liked to jump around, but he would do F sharp.
Okay. So that was really the strongest preaching key at first?
Nope.
What was your strongest preaching
C
key?
sharp. Oh, Howard Joyner.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. So when my granddaddy closed, he was more so kind of like a catch the moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't a cadence preacher. But he liked music, but it was like at a certain time. Like if he was getting to his points where he's saying reasons why, like I knew that was time to somewhat give him a cadence, but he will be in tune, but it won't be like he won't want to, but he would be in key because some people don't know is that my grandfather in his early ages played guitar as well.
Ah, interesting.
So my grandfather played guitar, but then once he started preaching and pastoring, he stopped playing, and but he still, knew how to be on key when it was time to close and whatever he was doing. But he wasn't one of those because I mean, all preachers are different.
So give me an example. Pretend you your granddaddy in C sharp. Preach like him and show us the cadence that you're talking about.
So
because you say he didn't have like a normal.
Right, he didn't have like a normal cadence. So like, say like he's talking about birds, birds flying, right? He was like, like an eagle having wings, all right? So he was like, I like to be like an eagle. He was like, so an eagle got wings, but at first, when they're babies, they don't start out flying, which reminds us of us as Christians, as babies in Christ, But it's when we get pushed out, then we gotta spread our wings and, we gotta try and learn how to fly. So and he would say, and it's like you were pushing his point. It was like as if and again, organists. You got to learn how to be the amen corner of whoever your preacher is. So it's not always about sometimes it's just, ain't he all right? How many y'all know? The call and response kind of thing. Because that takes us back to our roots. Like that's what we did in church. Like when we didn't have music, the deacons of the church and the mothers, they were the amen corn. Can I say it? That's why you hear a lot of people say yeah. They be like, yeah, say yeah. And the organist now takes the place of joins the congregation and invites them to participate. So he'll say yeah. They're like,
So this brings about a good point. The objective. Let's get right. So the objective of the organist is more of support.
Oh yeah.
I've been in situations where you would think the preacher backing up the organist.
There's a lot of situations like that. Now, okay, but they're so. In my years of working with different preachers, I say so. There's two elements to it.
Okay.
All right. So at first, especially when a preacher depends on what method they use. But typically, some of them use something called the dialectic method, where they give you 3 points and then they're going out. So by third point, they're starting to develop their cadence. All right. You are the amen corner towards the end of their cadence, because they like to sometimes establish their cadence by themselves.
Yes.
So like, I know the Lord will make a way. Yes, He will. Ain't He all right? It's all that stuff. Ain't He all right? And then that's when no.
Oh, so you start off smooth.
Yeah. So you give him that, then it's like, okay, I'm talking back with you. So and he's ready because he wants to kind of. It gets to the celebratory aspect. Now you're celebrating. You got your points. You got your understanding of the message. Now it's time to celebrate and really bring closure to what we're saying so that it stays with us.
So the close is to help it stay with you.
Oh yeah.
See, man, you teaching me something I ain't know. I ain't know why they be closing like that.
Yeah,
real.
so they close. So, all right, well, let's put it in perspective, right? They're giving you all this information in the beginning, right? But most of the times, people don't remember everything that's being said, which is why they give you points. 3 things to remember.
Yeah.
Rules of 3. Rules of 3. 3 things, you say something 3 times, you do something 3 times, then it becomes somewhat of a habit or something memorable. So they give you 3 different things that's kind of what related, but they tell a story. So I give you these 3 things you won't forget. You might forget everything else I said, but you're going to remember these 3 things. But at the end, I'm going to reiterate those 3 things that I said and the reason why we need to remember those things.
Yes.
So it's a method to it. I mean, and it makes sense once you really sit down and think about it. But what musicians often do sometimes is they jump the gun when what needs to be said ain't done. And again, don't get me wrong, not all.
So does that mean as an organist, you kind of got to be paying attention to the message?
Oh yeah, you gotta pay attention.
You really won't know.
Unless you know your pastor or who you work with.
Yeah, so when you know, like when you travel with them, you play with them every Sunday, you can kind of tell, even if you like not all the way paying attention, you can feel and hear when it's about that time.
Right, like I can be on the other side of the church doing the sermon, like getting some water or something, using the bathroom.
Yes.
And I'll know that he's at his 3rd point, and I'll start hearing him establish his cadences.
Yes.
And the thing is, when he starts establishing his cadence, I have until maybe the 7th or 8th time to be in place.
Wow.
Because now it's like a moment by it's like, all right, where's my amen? Because again, now the congregation is starting to slowly understand feel what's going on, but you gotta keep that moment driving.
Yes.
So by the 7th, 8th time, I'm in place and I'm just doing little stuff.
Yes.
But now my pastor preaches in F, so
Is F one of your favorite keys?
no.
Play though. I don't want to interrupt you. I just asked.
So at first, that's what I'm doing, like real slow creeping. Now I'm gonna tell you who taught me how to master that. Cedric Rowson taught me how to master. He told me sprinkle. It's called a. He has a method that I use for, and I will use.
Did he talk about it online too?
Yep. So right there, that's sprinkling, And there's moments where you can use that prior to the close, like if he has a big moment, because every big moment that they have in the beginning ain't always this, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, and then let it go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you stick too much, then either he gonna finish his sermon because you don't push them too far that he need to go, and now he got to jump to the close. But now they ain't learned nothing.
Yes.
But then, like when he closes, you can start him off real slow. And that's another thing, callers. That's a real.
That's a big thing. Yes.
Little stuff like that. And then once he really gets into his case, I know it's all right. I know it's all right. I know it's all right. I know it's all right.
So you can hear notes and know how to just like vibe off because you just killed me with that last 7 so bad.
All right, so this is the trick right there.
That just bugged me so bad.
Y'all be funny, man. So here's the trick right here. So okay, all right. If you that's the key he's in, right?
Talk right there, Steve.
Can you hear me?
No.
Oh,
talk
right
to
here.
that camera.
All right,
yes.
so can y'all hear me? Y'all love it?
Perfect.
If not, hit the share button. Let's get some more people that might need this to know
Yes.
how to close. I'm helping with closing on tonight.
I'm about to share it.
So here's the thing: when preachers start preaching, they're either gonna sing the note of the key that they in, or they're gonna sing the number within that scale, or something like that. So, Mr. Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Yes.
Yes,
Lord.
of mine. This. Oh. So hand up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's a 4 chord. So I can go that way or play the actual, which I could use the actual key, which is, I'm in the key of F, so that'll be B flat. So I can go church B flat, for lack of better terms. You know what I'm saying?
But let me tell you what's crazy though. Let me tell you what is scary about playing with a preacher. It is a fast thought process to follow it. Like, to be able to be in a position where you own them like that, your brain got to be moving mighty fast.
But this is the thing though, because you are the response, you got like a few seconds to say where you want to go.
Yes.
Like sometimes like they'll be like, I can still, like, I'm gonna tell you what. So this is what I was gonna say. Like, sometimes you're call and response, but then there's a moment in the sermon where actually, if you're connected, where the preacher and the organist connect, and then you start talking together.
Yes.
So, like, me and my pastor, we share that almost every Sunday.
Yes.
Like, and I'll always be the response to his call at first, because I don't want to be a distraction.
Yes.
That's the first thing. But when we reach like the middle of the sermon where he's really in his drive, because at this point it feels good to him, and like he's more connected. Yeah. And now it's more connected here. So now we're connected because we feel the same thing.
Yeah, that's good.
So he'll do the one like, ain't it all right? Ain't it all right? I know we've been making door for a night. I know the Lord is with me. So and then another thing is knowing scripture.
Yeah. Oh, the cadence of the scripture. That is pretty brilliant.
Like, we've been making door for a night. You know what I'm saying? And it just depends on how he feels. And sometimes you're not always there, but you're still connected.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
And then he'll like, but the Lord will make a way. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I know.
So how do you determine, okay, so if you playing the chords, how do you determine to go to your one and stay there? What makes you say, okay, I'm going to go to one and kind of play it a couple times?
So, again, knowing the scripture, if you know the scripture is done, he's going to either go to something else. So give him time to say that next thing he's going to say.
That's clever. So you're going to establish the one to help him get to the next thing.
The next thing. Or sometimes he'll go straight to the one. He'll sing the tonic or the one of the key. So you sit there with him. And it's all right. You made it. We made it. We gonna make it. And then,
yes!
And then, that's where you go off. And then you start doing all that extra stuff, But you got to know, and now, so that's what my pastor there, but Quintrell is different because he's a musician.
Yeah, he's very different.
Pastor Burrell is completed, so it's certain things that we'll do that's way different than I do with my pastor.
Okay.
So he'll like,
What's his key? What's his key?
He's a climber.
Okay. Like
my pastor, he'll climb every night. It got to be like a really good day. He got to not have had a busy week.
Yeah.
But like Pastor Burrell, he's a climber, so sometimes he'll start at F, but then a lot of times he'll start at E flat.
So he can have somewhere to go.
But so this is the thing, like playing with him, because I played with him for over like 5 years. We developed this thing like if he doesn't have a voice, I like, all right, I'm gonna put you in this key and I'll let you climb up here. So like most times he'll start in E flat, right? But there was this one time like he was having like a string voice issues and we had a revival. We had 3 days. So I said, all right, first day I'm gonna put you in B flat. All right, and it sounds crazy,
that's
right?
low.
But this is the thing, though. See, because you're establishing, you're the one giving what you want to do. You can play within the scale. So he was like, and he does a lot of runs. So he was like, ooh, right. So like, let's see, Joe. Let's say Joe. Joe. Will stay so long till the last hair on his bone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, Lord.
You know, his wife.
So you're saying even though it's a lower key, he's creative.
He's
with
creative.
the notes.
And this is the thing. So before he wouldn't do nothing like that. But I was like, if you play within the scale, you ain't got to be you could yeah. You know. I was like, just play within the range and then climb. So he was like, and then he start getting comfortable, you know, and then we stop at the key that he'll normally start preaching. So then like,
so now,
right. So
and
because you're climbing, it doesn't feel like you were just like in the dungeon and you didn't go nowhere. Like you actually went somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and you ain't got to start all the way up here. You know, you could and play within that.
What is his closed cadence like? Is it rhythmic?
He has a really good cadence, and kind of like my pastor, like they have good cadences. But he's so musical that he'll do musical things.
Yes, he'll do singer things,
like
musician type things,
like that like the flat five.
Yes,
he'll stay there like like. You know, or he'll do right. See, he's on the 1, but he want me to play the flat 7 of it. Like I can't hit it like you know, he'll do like stuff like that.
Yes, Lord.
Or he'll ride the 6 like when I was sick, he healed me. When I was that's cold. You know, he'll do stuff like that, yo. So and we be like in this game, we be having moments like but this is the thing, because we have relationships,
yes, man,
and we're connected. We're still true to the assignment,
yes,
but yet it feels good.
Yes, it's joy in it.
It's joy in it, man.
Yeah, that's good, boy.
I love.
Latrell is crazy though. Hey, he a beast. That's what's crazy. Do you remember when we used to play with Marshall?
Ooh, God.
What key did he preach in?
He preached in F, and he did a lot of octaves. He was like, he had like, he got that growl. And he got that real brassy voice. So.
Yes.
But if you notice, I never started out playing with him right away because he loved to establish his own cadence.
Yes, absolutely.
And some preachers do. They like to build their own house first. You know, like, and when I say build their own house, like they want you to hear what they have to say without any distraction or any assistance. Then when it gets time, it's like an added. Remember, we are there to accompany.
Yes. Yes.
Although we're playing, we're connecting, and we're getting the message out, but we're still there to accompany.
Yes.
So sometimes, as an accompanist, there are some things in the piece that require rest from you, but still musical, or sound from another place.
Yes, and then how do you, when he's getting ready to end the sermon, what's your thought process to bring it back down?
All right, so there are different scenarios. Like there's some moments which we call for require warfare stuff. You know.
So when we talk warfare, is that normally minor?
No.
Teach.
So
how do you determine?
Because there's some times where you They're different. There are different levels to, I'll say, warfare. Sometimes it is, and where it's talking, it just depends on
You
the
feel
scenario.
it's you.
And you got to feel the room.
Yes.
Because again, sometimes some people are like, ooh, thank you, and really you need to settle their spirit because they need to hear what's next.
Okay. Well, you just made a good point. Because in some situations, people will hear a person hollering and go with them.
Right.
So the organist be going with it. No, don't go with them.
It ain't time to, like, sometimes, and I had to get my band sometimes on Sundays, like, they'll think it's a church, like a shout moment, and it's not. It's one of those kind of, but it's from my years of playing, and, they're still understanding how to learn houses. And there's no slight to them. I can't slight them from where they are right now, but they're learning. So, like last Sunday, my pastor did not preach.
Okay.
It was one of those kind of we laying hands.
Yeah.
We're in spiritual warfare.
And what were you playing?
So I was doing like a lot of.
You were in F. You don't remember?
I was in E flat.
Okay.
So I was doing like a.
Wait, come back. What is that?
All right, so you gotta.
I know that chord.
If we're in the key of E flat.
I know that chord.
And it's the bass that makes it that 2 in the bass of F. But you gotta mix it.
Now play it in context again.
So.
I know that chord. I'm sorry, y'all. I just needed that chord. All right, continue.
So now this is the thing about that. So
So now he didn't preach.
Right, he's in. So he didn't preach at all. It was real high. We're doing all that stuff, holding stuff, because at this moment he's laying hands. He's saying, and this is another thing. Sometimes you think musicians are just trying to be loud, but we're really trying to keep people from being too nosy about some things that need to be said between the minister and the person who needs the word. That's one thing. But the other thing is you need everybody to stay in the same mindset and know that, this is something that's happening
right
in
now.
the room. So it keeps people focused, but also not being too nosy.
Yeah,
because some people be just trying to find out what's going on in people's lives. Like, oh, I knew she won't about nothing. She got problems. She's sitting there. I knew she was over there doing all that stuff with that man. That's why she at there this week. And you be like, yo, like, you cuss real bad.
Real bad.
And your breath stink.
Real bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't even like you. You sitting there worried about this person.
Yes. So and the crazy thing is, I've honestly never thought about what we do from that perspective of like helping people to stay focused. I never thought about that before.
Yeah. So that goes to Sunday. So like my my musicians, like, granted, I get very expressive in those moments sometimes because I understand what's going on, so I might make a sound or something like that. But they were like, yeah, like they thought it was a quartet gig, yeah, I'm like, no, I was like, yo, I need y'all to focus. This is a very serious moment, because again, musicians, you got to remember that what's on you also comes out. And I ain't trying to be super deep, but that's the reality of it, especially in those kind of moments. Like, we actually open a doorway.
Yes, sir.
Because there may be some people that may have stuff on them that got to get out and go back through that door that we're opening. But we also got to keep things from coming out of that door, just to be figuratively. But there's like there's a place that we go to in those moments. And even throughout service. So we have to be careful how we respond to the things we say or do in that moment. We just have to be very careful.
Yes.
Which is another reason why a lot of preachers and ministers don't want to take a lot of people with them when they go out, because as ministers, speaking for myself as well, when we go out and we do the things that we do, if we have people with us, we have to make sure that they're covered as well. And if you're a distraction along with the other distractions or the things, your assignment, then it's a headache.
Because it's like we are already going into a place where we're going to have to face distraction.
Yeah, and
So
sometimes
if you with
places
me,
you never
you
been.
can't be another distraction.
Yeah.
We got to be like, we a team. We
Yeah.
here to fulfill an assignment, and we got to all be focused on the same page.
Yeah.
So that we can fulfill what we came to do. That's heavy, dog.
Yeah. Am I helping y'all out there? I hope I am.
I think you are. You're helping me. You're helping me for sure.
Oh my God.
You're helping me for sure. So what do you choose to play as like your talk chords, so to speak?
All right, so I'm one of those kind of people. Like, if I take a melody, I'm gonna make something. And usually I just play what I hear in my head.
Yes.
So like what I hear in my head right now. So. Stuff like that. So
Yes. So this would be you just playing.
Yep.
So how do you know when there should be more of a like established beat loop type of progression, or when you should freestyle? How do you know like which way to go?
Typically, so this is how I make my my judgment call. If my pastor is giving like announcements, sometimes I'll do like no matter of fact, I'll do this.
Oh, this is my wife's favorite song in the whole world.
I'll play stuff like that real low. Just something to kind of like, this week we're gonna have prayer on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because it's just a little kind of talk background kind of music. Yes. But then there are moments where like it's like, I hope you heard it, we have to live right, and we gotta keep God first and acknowledge Him in all our ways, There may be somebody, who heard, you know what I'm saying?
Wait. So as soon as he says there may be somebody, you automatically say,
because I'm trying to create some emotion, and it's not that we want people to respond out of emotion, but you have to create a room that what's being said. It's like a movie.
It's a movie. It's a score. We literally score church services. We scored the church service, literally. Steve, this is brilliant. So when you're okay. All right, next question. Did I cover everything? Preaching, playing for the preacher.
Hey, brother.
Closing. Hey, Tank, what up? So if he's talking, if he's like doing announcements, you playing like you're playing right now. Mm-hmm. So then so do you automatically play songs like in a band situation? Do you automatically play songs in like altar call moments?
Depends on the moment.
Okay.
Now, and sometimes this is annoying for me. My pastor will be like, as the praise team sings a song, and sometimes it's not that moment. But because he's my shepherd, I got to follow what he say. But what I typically do in those moments, whatever the message is, that's why you got to pay attention to the message or the meat of the song, because you got to find certain words that cater to what he's saying.
Oh, and then you try to find a song
that relates. So because people relate to songs, or the message in the song, and then that be like, oh wow, like come to Jesus. Come to Jesus, come to Jesus, just now, come to Jesus, come to Jesus, just now. He will save you, He will save you, He will save you. Just now, just now, he will save you. He will save you. Just now, you know. Only trust him. Only trust him. Only trust him. Just now, just now. Only trust him.
Y'all, this man can
Only
play so
trust
good.
him. Just now.
So you just like, okay, if I'm aware of the sermon topic, I'ma search my mind of all the songs I know.
Yeah,
and
like
find
from the
one.
moment he start, like I don't move until after he's kind of got past his
But you
interest.
try to go ahead and figure the song out.
Because I'm gonna tell you another thing I do, and some denominations don't like music when the scripture is being played. My house does because
Yes.
it creates a moment. So like, say he's reading something in David, book of David,
Yes.
you know, talking about David. You know, I'll be like, now this is one of my presets I like to use. I was like,
What is that preset? We have to talk about presets, and they cannot see. I wish we had a camera to show it. But so, how do you determine? So, did you learn your preset settings by just
feel.
okay?
And another thing is, I asked like a lot of my people I looked up to.
Yes.
What they like? What was that? Like I ain't even gonna lie to you. I just learned how to do the waterfall joint.
Okay.
Like last year.
Okay.
Like that. Oh, hold on, that ain't right. No,
Oh, so you didn't even know the preset to get that
I
sound?
could, for the life of me, I could not figure it out. I'm still trying to get it together, but anyway, but you know, like that.
And that's literally a certain preset.
It's certain preset.
It's literally like, y'all can't see it, but he got it like.
It's like a angle. Right?
Yes, it's like at an angle. Either way, like so he's starting at the top, and then do the other. So this one is like
Like
the
a.
first three are like pushed in, and then they coming out like.
You know how to be like. You know how to be like a.
Yeah.
You know all that.
Jesus,
You know.
sounds
So. Let's see.
I wish we could see it, yo.
So. You know like. Darn it. Let me do it this way. Like. You know, like that.
Yes. So who taught you the waterfall?
Said. I called Cedric Rouse and Pastor Cedric Rouse, and I was like, yo, what is that? And when I did it, I was like, what is that kind of sound? He was like, the what? Yeah. I was like, you know this sound where you come up and you're like, he was like, oh. He was like, just do this right here. And,
She told me if I move this, we can see it.
oh, okay. So, once he said do that, shout out to Juicy Ears, by the way.
Shout out to Juicy Ears.
Wonderful line.
Oh, now you can see the draw bars a little bit. Yes,
So basically, with this preset, I'm using the B manual, and coming down like as if like it's like
yes,
like that. And basically, I'm taking from 1 through 8. I'm starting at 0, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in a sense. All right. With 0, 1, 2, and just try and get to like 8 at the end. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then the 1. And then your first preset, which is your 16, is gonna be 0.
got you.
All right, and then you make that.
Jeez.
And then, you know, or.
And then you did the slope the other way too, right?
Right, so you do it the other way.
It's the opposite direction.
Or the
Just, that's like Ralph Laughton. Jeez.
So and everything achieves a certain effect, you know.
And that's okay. That's another thing. That's another thing about the organ too is because of the draw bars, the organ has the ability to have more expression than the piano. Somebody said.
He said, "What key do you play your draw bars in on the left side on the organ beside the footboard?"
You're ignorant.
I can't say
we don't have time for this, man. We trying to help the people, and you in the comments being ignorant. Hey,
it's funny.
So yeah, like the fact that the organ, there's so many different ways. Like a piano, this it. I mean, I can add other sounds, but the organ can sound like a million different things.
Well, the original intent and like we talk about pipe organ,
Yes.
was to take the place of the orchestra and the choir, be the choir. So when they made it with all of these sounds, to achieve different elements. Like if it needed to sound like brass or oboes or woodwinds or flutes, it gave it that desired pitch that it needed to be to become the orchestra.
That is interesting history lesson, but it makes sense because the organ is like the most like in a band in the context of like church. It is the most versatile instrument on its own.
It is.
Like, cause like I said, a keyboard you can stack sounds, or a guitar you can have pedals, but without nothing but the organ has the most expressive options.
The organ can be anything you do. It can be a drummer. It can be a bass player. It can be percussive.
Yes.
It can be. It can sustain itself. It can be anything you need. It can be voices. It could be whatever it needs to be. And even if you listen to a lot of old school or choir stuff, you hear the organ playing the parts of it.
They be playing the words the whole time. Oh, so wait a minute. So I just noticed this. When you were not playing the bass notes, you were still tapping a note to keep the timing.
You see that?
Yeah, that's definitely drums. Definitely playing drums.
Right.
Like swinging like a drummer. Jesus. Yo, Steve, you so cold. So now we got to go back because I want to understand. So how in the world did you start to develop your style and sound as it relates to the tones that you use? Because I'm sure different organ players favor different drawbar settings.
Oh yeah.
And is there some drawbar settings that are like fundamentally universal?
Yep. Fundamentally one with, and I'll just do it since a lot of people don't understand the numbers of it. So take the first one, first four, that's foundation.
Is there anything else out or just the first four?
Just first four. Everything else closed in, pull the first four out. It gives it that good tone. Another thing, you do the first and third. So it's not too bright. And this is the thing, every drawbar is harmonic, so.
So wait. So the second drawbar is a fifth? The second drawbar is a fifth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be pulling them boys out. That's
16,
one of them don't
8.
work on. One of them don't work on that. You might have to go to your.
No, they
your
all
B
work.
setting. Okay, good. That's the third.
Uh-huh. Tonic, third, fifth. And they all.
Yo, that's babe.
I'm playing one note. Give it a different tone.
Yo, Steve just messed me up. That boy just played a chord with one note because of the daggone harmonics of the drawbars.
Matter of fact, one of my friends, now you can do it. You can do it as, where is it at? Let's see. Like, you can transpose organ, but just in one key, though. Like, let's see if I can do it. Let's see. Right, okay, I'm in the key of C sharp, right?
Yes.
But
that's crazy. Because of the daggone. You playing the bass notes in a different key, didn't it? So what key is the bass note in? Because of our ears. Our ears hear.
So,
all
right, so right now.
Our ears hear what?
So right now I'm playing in the key of F sharp. I'm playing in C sharp, right?
But it sounds like F sharp.
My fingering is at F sharp.
Yeah.
So I'm playing in the key of C sharp or
Yes,
D flat.
We hear C
Right.
sharp.
But
you
my
playing in F
fingering
sharp.
and on the organ is F. The bass pedals are still in C sharp. So
The fact that you can play in 2 different keys is crazy. That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
all right, so
So then you just going with different organists, learning different presets.
yep.
Sheesh. So what is your favorite talk music preset?
Let's see. So it depends on how I feel sometimes.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll do like a little bit of I'll say the last straw bar. And I'll
First and third?
First and third.
Oh, that's so smooth.
And then if it's too much, because my thing is I don't want to be too loud or too heard, so I'll bring it in some.
Yeah, keep it warm. Now what you just moved? What you just moved?
My bass down.
So you moved the first one down.
Last one all the way in.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one you just pulled out a little bit. And you playing too, dog. You know how to sub so good.
Try the third and fourth, yeah. I use that sometimes too, like adding the 16, the 8, I think that's the 4. So, and that's when it kind of like I use this a lot. Honestly, I use this in do a song, like especially like if it's got a good groove. And it's not too bright. Then once it builds, or like a James Hall song. Let's see, what is
Hey. Woo! Play that chord again. Yo, everything you play sounds different. And what setting is? Ow! What in the world? What is that chord?
Which one? Yep.
I be knowing the chords, but I never play them like you. Okay, I got another thing. Like, I don't never be thinking of them chords. It's like, I don't know.
But that's just from my. Yep. Oh.
No, play the other one you just played.
Yeah. Over a tritone.
What did you just do? Wait. What did you just do over here to the left?
I turned the vibrato on.
What?
But it would
What's
be. I think they
the
would
purpose
use
of the
it.
vibrato? Why do you use the vibrato?
So it gives like an extra kind of texture.
Yes.
So.
Boy, it
and
sound like, well, let me tell you what that sound like. That
What?
sound like the Aretha Franklin gospel.
Right. So let's see.
Babe, you sound like you in a time machine, boy.
And that's it, because V1, C2, V2.
Oh, what is that? What is that? What
All right,
do
so
they do?
C3 it will implicate the sound of the C3 organ. The V1, C1, V2,
So wait a
C2.
minute. So are all these different types of organs that is
Textures.
popping? Or it's just
The
or
different textures,
are
like,
there organs you
vibrato
can
textures.
buy that's just a V1? There's
Well,
no such thing.
I want to say there is a V1 organ. I know there's A100, but like the C2, C1, it's like different kind of core. I want to say it like
Tones, textures.
textures. I'll just say textures. There you go. That one, that one speed sound like a tone cab, right? And it do like because you got to think about the Leslies at the time. Like they all produce different tones,
Yes.
textures.
So did
combined with the
people
organ.
use different settings based on their cabinet too?
Sometimes, and each cabinet is different. Like you can't pair certain Leslies with certain organs, like unless you got an adapter.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true.
Converter.
Converter, yes.
Because they all produce different tones. Some of them
Yeah.
have more overdrive than others. Some of them have made by different cabinets. Some have different substances. Like the newer ones, I think they are using like styrofoam and whatever.
How you don't even know?
It's because they don't. To me, some of them don't sound good.
Right. So what organ do you prefer if you have a choice?
A100.
Why?
I like the A100 one because it's not as heavy as Jack's, but it's smaller. Like at my house, at my home, I have an A100. I have a 122A, I believe, Leslie.
Okay.
Or is it a 140? I think it's 122A.
Where did you get it from?
Interesting story. Hold on, let me see. Make sure. All right, so I had a friend of mine who was making some changes in life, and he was like, "Yo, I have a A100." He's like, and I don't want to take it with me. He's like, if you can get here, you can have it.
He got a U-Haul.
So I got a
moving
U-Haul
company.
trailer, 122. Oh, stop it, Xavier. That 122. My 122A sound dope. But I mean, I have great techs who can actually service organs. So anyway, I got to now this is the flip side. So he traded me I had a mixer, like a digital mixer that I just was not using, and it wasn't compatible with what I was using.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, you give me that." He was like, "You can have the A100." So I get to his house, and he was like, well, on my way, he was like, "What else you got?" And I was like, "Well, I got this such and such." He's like, "Well, give me that." And he was like, "So give me those two things." But then I get to his house, and then he has a Fender Rhodes sitting at his house, and he was like, "Well, I can't take this either. So you want the Fender Rhodes too?" So I packed up the A100, the Leslie, pedals, bench, Fender Rhodes 71. Sitting in my studio right now.
Have you tracked with the Rhodes?
Not yet. So there's some pickups that I gotta buy for them. But once I get those,
Boy, you got a Rhodes in your house that somebody traded you?
I also have a Yamaha CP70 that was used in a lot of older records. Yeah.
You have a CP70 at your house?
The acoustic.
That's the Joe V. Keys love.
The
Mine
acoustic,
love that CP70.
And it
Yeah,
got the
electric,
pickups on the
yes.
side. Yep, I got it.
That is crazy.
Yep. So, and I'm gonna keep them.
Daggone right.
Yeah. So I mean.
So
and
what's my? I did have another question I wanted to ask you. So we cover all the preaching. We cover drop bars. Okay. How does your mindset differ between playing in a service by yourself and then playing with a band?
One thing is that you cannot overplay.
Yeah.
So playing by myself, I can do whatever I want. You know, because I got a drummer, keep time. So, but even within time, I can kind of do, like, you know, let's see. And the drummer can keep time. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of. So I can do whatever I kind of want to do there, and me and drummer fine, because I'm not in his way, he ain't in my way.
Yes.
And honestly, we can do certain things together percussively, and we good.
Yes.
But when it comes down to having an entire band, now everybody has their specific role.
Yes.
So like when we do the sessions that we do here,
Yes.
I know I don't have to worry about pedals because we got a bass player.
Yes. Yes.
I know I ain't got to be too percussive because piano is percussive.
Yes. Then we got loops. We got all kinds
We
of
got
stuff.
loops, so all I got to do is really pad and color.
Okay,
every now and then.
that's what I want to talk about. So by yourself in a church service, your job is to be everything. In a band, you pad and color.
Band, you pad and color.
So how do you determine when to pad and when to color?
Understanding the role of the instrument. So
Yes,
the
sir.
role of the organ is, at that moment, when you have all the other elements, is to basically be somewhat like the voices. Yeah, I'll say that. Be the voices. So, you're playing like a, what is it? Like, no.
What song is that song like Andre Crouch?
Courage to stay with the Lord.
Whose song is this?
Yeah, the Hawkins. I'm sorry, Milton Brunson.
Okay.
Jesus. Yo, Brent would kick my butt if I said that. The wrong one to stay with the Lord. Like.
Yes.
Just padding.
Yes, because you would, in your mind, other people are playing. Well, you killing though. So then how do you know when to do like the little sprinkly stuff?
Because you got to know who's going to take a role. Like, I know the guitar going to be like, only person I really got to worry about is either if we got an aux player or if my keyboard player is flashy.
Yes.
But most of the time, you got the keyboard player just gonna be in most on the pocket, take little, and it's like it's like a language understood but not said. Like musicians know, all right, if I did something here, then I'm not gonna take the next hole. I'm gonna let somebody else take it. And most of the time, they know when, if they're connected.
Yes. I'm trying to. Hold on. While you keep talking, I'm gonna try to do a demonstration.
All right, cool.
But you can
So
keep teaching,
so everybody knows their assignment, and everybody takes turns saying something, because again, musicians, you got to remember that when playing with a band, we're all having a musical conversation. The musical conversation is you're playing the song, but in between we're saying how we're talking to each other, but we're also expressing how we interpret the song. So I'm encouraged to stay with Jesus. Something real quick. Courage to stay with the Lord. I might do something, but I'm playing by myself. But in a band,
And so there are times where you don't even play the chords?
No.
Yes. Steve, you a beast boy. Jesus.
And then I'm
Jeez,
done.
Steve.
Now, if ain't nobody saying nothing, because the thing is, the conversation has to keep going. So if ain't nobody said something within a certain time where there were holes, then I might say something. Y'all still there?
God.
And then somebody say, yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Like the bass player, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll say, yo, I'm still talking to you. I'm here. Keyboard player, he might be whatever doing he's doing. Aux, You know what I'm saying? And then all right, we're good. I'm glad y'all here.
I'm trying to think of a song that I know in that key. We're about to do a demonstration. Can you hear me though?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right.
What you got? All right.
So first of all, this is the other thing we got to show. The thing we're gonna talk about. We're gonna pretend we have a bass. We're gonna pretend we got a whole band.
All right.
I wish I had a loop, but I don't. But like the whole matching chords thing, right? We're gonna teach that too. So if we say, so if it's, let me say, what's, hold on, cause I hear something. Is it? Or is it?
It's really.
Okay, so we're gonna say. And it was this chord. Hold on, I got a noise.
All right. That's me. That was me, Dan.
Hey, yeah, but I want it though. So if we say so, it's. Right, same thing.
Uh-huh.
So now play with me and let's pretend. So we're gonna go through the scenario as if people playing with us, and then we're just gonna talk through it and see what happens.
All right.
So 1, 2, see. So what you say? So. Did you just do that?
No.
I can't hear. What's your 5?
Whatever you want it to be.
All right, so let me
I'll
see.
match you.
All right, so this is good too. That's the vibe. Steve said whatever I want it to be. I'm gonna see. You right. All right, so do it.
All right.
Yes, Steve.
And like,
He
you
just
saw,
showing. Yes.
and like it's little moments like that because you saying, you know, so I can do. Cause
Yes.
it's little passing tones, right?
Yes, if you know I'm not gonna move,
Right.
Steve, you talking to him too. You Jesus. And then what's the other part? What's this? Right.
Sorry.
No, I'm learning it from you.
We can do that.
What is that chord?
Yeah. So I play like a.
Hold on, I gotta.
Like a-
you hear that boy?
Yep. Play like a F, like church F. Right, but the other one. Right, the big one. Before you resolve. Yep. So. Diminish. Yep. So.
Because it's into the 3, but that's really
It's a turnaround.
So now play with me.
All right.
So play the whole thing with me. And because in real life, this is what I would play. I'm trying to think of what I would play. First of all, let me get my sounds together. So I would say. Right. And this is when you play the. Sorry, guys. My keyboard is trash. I have to fix it. First of all, this chord is crazy right here.
But make sure you play a flat 5, 7.
Show me the chord, play that.
So
No, that chord, I need that chord.
play a diminished chord.
Yes?
Yep. That's it.
Oh, Jesus. And then the first chord is what?
Yep. Like a F churchy.
That's what you just showed me?
Yep.
And then this diminished chord.
I'm just switching the bass.
What's the bass note?
C.
These are important things. These are important things.
And we call them sub notes. So.
Yes. So
That's
it's
sub.
C bass note. And then what's the second chord bass note?
F. 7. The 3. So flat 5, 7, 3.
right here. Yo, this music to my ears. Hey, Stephen, I think it was the second. I think I talked about it on both of them, but in a situation where there's so many people playing chords, it's a good thing to like match chords and then do expressive stuff.
Right.
Everybody can have their own identity and spaces, but still play the meat of the song. And like this how I learned it. Like, cause like, I'm gonna keep it real. Like on Quartet records, they don't really do that. They just all play it. It don't be mattering. But like if I listen to like an Andre Crouch record, I'm like, wait a minute.
And the secret, what makes hits like that so memorable and classical, because classic is that they allow the musician to still have their identity while playing together. Because I mean, basically at that moment they're just coloring.
Yes.
And everybody needs the color to have a different color to make a beautiful
Everybody
picture.
should have a different color.
If it's
but
all
but it's the same picture.
Same picture, just different color. It's just
color.
abstract. That's all. That's all.
That is a great
Different
point.
colors, which makes the picture.
Jesus.
You know, if it's just all black, then it just looks like one color. But when you start adding blues and greens and oranges and purples.
Yes. Hey, and I'm gonna tell you another thing. I was getting ready this morning, and a thought came to my mind. It's like, you know how people say you straight? You know how people say you play with feel? And like, I learned that playing with feel is not playing what you. I thought I put it in my phone. Let me see if I put it in my phone, because it was profound. I thought I was deep. Steve, you ever had a deep moment in?
Oh
in
yeah.
I didn't write it. I didn't put it down, but it was profound. The idea of what I was saying was like, you know how people be like, man, you got to have feel. Like the key to playing and it reaching people is playing with feel. But I've known people that think playing with feel means play the first thing that come to your mind.
Right.
And that's not really playing with feel.
Nope. Playing
Like for instance, like we was just playing. If we say, now, if I wanted to play with feel, it's not this. That's not feel.
That's stuff you need to do by yourself.
Right. But feel is.
Right.
It's like you're not deviating, you're just expanding on the progression in a way that colors. It's not like OD, it's
Right.
just.
Because I'm gonna put it in the sense of conversation. At that moment, you're dominating the conversation and never getting nobody else the chance to say anything.
This is not a conversation. And we know how it feels like, and you're in a relationship and you're like, you don't never let me talk.
They don't never let me talk because you always talking. Stop talking. And that's what I adopted that. I'll say maybe 5 years of saying musical conversation because that's really what's happening. We're talking through music.
Yes, Lord.
But everybody needs to have a chance to speak.
And I'm gonna tell you another
It was
thing.
a one-sided conversation.
So listen, another thing, like we can look at a chord progression as the subject of conversation. Like if we're talking about, if we're saying, hey man, we really need to focus on building this church, right? And you're like, okay, these are the supplies. Oh man, I thought of this. We might can use this paint. Now, if somebody start talking about a car wash, what is you talking about? We are not talking about cars. What? Hey, and then that Honda man, we need to go back. Huh? Honda?
We
What is you talking about? And sometimes we do that in music, especially drummers. Like drummers will be playing the groove.
Man.
We talk about building, and then they just throw that Honda in there. I'm like, man, we not talking about Hondas, man.
Not talking about Honda. We ain't nobody beeping in there right now.
Yo, like, what are you doing?
And that is a pet. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Like my drummer, I love my drummer. He's really, really good. And he has grown a lot. But there was some moments when we first started playing. I was like, yo, don't ever do that again. I'm like, what are you thinking?
Hey, let me tell you something. Steve is the guy who would get in the talk back and say, don't ever do that again.
Yo, y'all know my saying. Would you rather me pat you on the back
yes,
while
sir.
you failing?
Yes, sir.
Would you rather me tell you the truth?
Yes, sir.
So you
Steve, so you'd be like, oh. So do you got a keyboard player at your church?
Nah, well, yes, potential. I have a potential keyboard. We're growing. Our ministry is growing. Wow. We're growing on tonight. We're growing.
So you're going to be, when you get a keyboard player, how many pieces will you have?
We'll have 4 pieces then.
Okay.
And then my last piece will probably be like guitar before I start adding horns.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking this question is because we have to talk about the idea of being an MD.
Yeah.
In a situation like yours, you would be the MD from the organ.
I am. I'm the MD from the organ.
You see what I'm saying? And a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people have misconceptions that you got to be the main keyboard player to be the MD.
Nah.
And you don't.
Honestly, when I first started at Pastor Burrell, the MD was the bass player. And Haywood Sumner, phenomenal bass player, one of the greatest musicians I've ever met in my life, because he's musical and he understood everybody's role. And I mean, granted, like I was coming from a situation where I was the MD, but I ain't have a problem with listening to him because he knew what he was talking about.
Let's talk about that, because number one, most people that play keys think they should automatically be the MD.
Nope.
Or most people think that the main keyboard player should automatically be the MD.
That ain't always
so you come in and you're extremely gifted. Not only are you extremely gifted, you are used to calling the shots. And then you get over there with Burrell and it's like, Haywood calling the shots. And it didn't bother you?
Listen, first of all, well, for me, I've always been the big fish in the little pond. So like I was either MD or I was in the killer band and my input was needed or whatever.
Yes.
So those moments were like my breath of fresh air to actually sit back and relax and just play.
Only play. So you enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it. But what I enjoyed most about him was that he wasn't one of those kind of MDs that didn't want input. That didn't just want to say, all right, that's how we do it. And there were moments where he was like, well, and he knew like I was the better musician anyway.
Yeah. So
he was like, all right, Steve, where we going from here?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, hey, you tell me where we going. I'm following you, boss. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't to be funny, but it was like, yo, like.
Yeah.
But there were certain moments, though, that I would have to, because at that moment, I am the organist and you playing bass.
Yes.
You know, so, like, there would be moments where I would have to lead. But when it came down to certain numbers and stuff like that, I was like, yo, let's do whatever you want to do, but this is where we need to go. And then as a team, we went in the directions that we needed to go to accomplish the objective that week. So.
Yes. So you building your band now. You're gonna be MDing from the organ. So
well, I've always done that from the organ. 90% of the time, I've been MD from the organ.
From the organ.
Yep.
So you sit back, you play pad and color, but still call the shots. Mm-hmm. So you're not the dominant instrumentalist, but you're the voice that guides the ship. Does that ever become? Yes, talk about it.
Actually, because I didn't before have a keyboard player, I was still the dominant instrument. So I was still the percussion for the piano, certain things, and the pad and the choir, but I still told them where they needed to go.
Yes.
Like I'm like, hey, the bridge about to come up, and then I'm directing the team at the moment. I'm like, yo, let's go, let's take it out. Like let's loop that. That's good. We in a good place. Yes. You know, so a lot of times like my worship leader, now my praise and worship leaders, I would give them the freedom to kind of move, but if I felt it going another way, I'd be like, hey, no, loop that. We not ending right now. And then I was like, all right, keep playing, build it up, let's set them up. Yes. You know, because right now we're trying to create a moment. We're trying a lasting moment that's going to set the minister up for the sermon. So I would guide the whole room because I'm not just the MD. I'm the minister of music. So now I gotta.
Oh, okay. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's
So
talk.
all right. So from a musical
There's
director
two-
standpoint,
yes.
I would direct the band solely. All right. But,
So as an MD, this is band.
yep, band musical
And
director.
the musical director is only focused
Well,
on the band.
depending on the house, because some houses will say that the MD job
they
is all to the do.
interchangeable?
Interchangeable sometimes, because some people don't understand the term. But the minister of music is actually the person who, in most ministries, is the one who actually runs the entire ship.
So is it possible that, well, I know the answer, but I'm asking for other people. Is it possible to have a minister of music and an MD
Yeah.
on staff at one church?
Yeah, that's my plan. I don't want to be just I don't want to be both. I don't have to be both. You're more effective when you got more hands.
Yes,
putting
because
in the
like
work.
for instance, if you're the minister of music as an organist, and let's say you hire a keyboard player who becomes the MD, then when you come to band rehearsal, you just color and pad.
I'm just color and pad, cause
But before that, you in the group me. You saying, okay, this is the songs. Then
I
this
mean,
is
and
the
even
this.
even as the minister of music and having an MD, I'm like, all right, this the songs for the week. This what I want, MD. This what I want them to make sure that they got.
Yes.
And then when I get to rehearsal, I be like, all right, cool. What we doing? Although I know the songs and I know the material.
Yes.
Like I can he be like, all right, let's do this and here. And as the minister of music, I be like, all right, that was a great idea. Let's go this direction too, because this might happen
Because
here.
I'm thinking about
the service and this house. Because the minister of music, and that's the thing. Like as an MD, you gotta still respect those who are above you.
Yes.
So it's like the pastor, minister of music, and the MD.
Yeah, because the MD is like, in most cases, they want to make sure that the presentation of the music, the breaks, the accents, that's all they own.
That's all they own.
But they might not be necessarily thinking like, okay, I know what the pastor's preaching. Mm-hmm. I know the range of this praise and worship leader. So actually it should be a whole step down and take some of those breaks out.
Yep.
So that it can flow in the house.
And there's
I
been
know
a
how
lot
the
of
people
times-
respond.
There's been
and
a
they
lot
not
of
gonna
times
like that.
I've watered down but still made tasteful the music for that
Yes.
week. Just because I know, all right, look, we can't do all this stuff. One, because we ain't running Ableton this week. We're using Logic. So let's stay in this format. But when it goes out, and let's build it up as a team, and now let's start inserting certain things here.
Yes,
but
that's
we ain't
good.
doing all them breaks from the record because it ain't required.
It's not required in here.
It's not always required.
And it's like at the end of the day, it's like you got to serve your audience. And the congregation of that house is the audience.
It's the audience.
They come for a word. They come to be inspired. They come to be delivered, lifted up. And it's like our presentation, which is another good point. You don't always have to play the song like the record if the record don't fit the house. If it's a good message, but the way that it's arranged for that album doesn't fit your house, you can make it your own.
You make it your own. There have been times when I've had to do that. And I like playing the record.
Yes.
I enjoy playing the record, because I like to appreciate the artist. But sometimes, and it's a whole bunch of this long tail intro. They don't know how. This ain't no concert. You know what I'm saying? Like
this is not a concert.
This ain't music ministry day where we're having a whole concert. So
That's good.
let's get to the meat of the song and let's go ahead and start.
Yes.
Or a couple of weeks we did an arrangement of a song that another ministry did from the Mount. We did one of that. They did I Feel the Spirit, right?
Okay.
I feel your spirit. But they flipped the whole groove, right?
Ooh.
So it was like I feel him moving. Right? Feel him moving. And then they got to,
Yes.
So now in the beginning, the drummer is not kind of giving them that drive.
Yes.
But I needed to get to the meat of it so that people the congregation can already kind of feel the groove and they'll start clapping and moving with it,
Yes.
The unfortunate thing for my drummer that week was that he decided to follow the record instead of doing what I asked him to do.
Ooh.
And I was like, I don't care this is what I need to happen now. Give me the groove so that we can move it. And once he did that, then the congregation was like, oh, shoot, this feels good. Because, again, we got to remember that although we're not I stress this, although we're not trying to create, have people move out of emotion, we still have to create an emotion,
Yes.
so that people can feel what it
Because
should be.
that's how they start to engage. Like we have to present something that they connect to if we want them to engage. If they don't connect to it, they're just gonna sit there.
Yeah.
And then we
They're
like,
just gonna sit there, and it's been weeks where, because it was not conveyed correctly, they just sat there, and they might have enjoyed it, but the actual participation or involvement of it was not there because we didn't execute like we should.
yeah, so did you go back and have a meeting? Let's talk about this. This is the last thing we're gonna talk about. How do you handle, okay, fellas, we need to talk. Or ladies, because I know it's not just fellas.
So I have a thing, and I do this even with in my house. Like, I don't like to publicly embarrass people.
Yes.
That's just me.
Yes. Talk there because she moved.
I'm sorry. So I don't like to publicly embarrass people, but what I do is, like, we have talkbacks, so nobody else know what I'm saying but the team. So I'm like, yo, that one sweet. And like a few months ago, 1 week, my musicians were not prepared at all. I was like, yo, this is the last week y'all will come to this church and not be prepared for what we're doing this week. I was like, that's unacceptable. It's like, people's lives are at stake, blah, 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 blah. And I said all that, and they was like, yo, we understand, we're sorry, apologize, blah, 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 all that stuff. But I wasn't public about that. There were some weeks where my team know they bombed. Oh, my God. And I wouldn't say nothing that day. We have a group chat, though. I be like, yo, we gonna talk, let's talk this week. Have rehearsal. I be like, yo, that was not sweet. Matter of fact, it's to the point now, I don't have to say anything. They already know. They was like, yo, we don't care how long rehearsal is tonight. We know you probably gonna hold us about 2.5 hours, because that was not good, and that is not what we're trying to do.
Yes.
So, still you got some that just be wanting to go, but and I'm like, yo, you didn't sound that great. That wasn't great.
Yes.
So for me, publicly, I don't embarrass. Some people do, and I mean, you take it for a grain of salt. I mean, and if it's the truth, eat the fish, spit out the bones.
That's facts.
But I don't like to publicly embarrass anyone. I'd rather wait, pull you to the side. Let's have a good heart-to-heart conversation. Have a witness so that it's not taken out of control or something if I don't trust that person. And let's keep it moving. And it's all in love. And there's one thing I tell them, don't take it. And I told my choir, like, just the other, maybe Tuesday, my college choir had a performance. I was like, yo, don't take anything I'm saying right now personal. It's musical. It's like, it's because we got to do this right.
Yes, man.
And because they listened and they did what I asked them to do, because I have a saying, like, stupid works if we all do it together. So we had one of the moments where we were doing something and it seemed stupid, but when we were all doing it together, then all of a sudden everybody wanted to do it. And after we sung, I had a lot of people that was like, oh my God, like, we love those songs. It was like, what you guys did is going to be in our heads for all night long.
Yeah.
I was like, objective achieved, because we did it together. So go, and applies to the band. When you do things together and you do it right, come prepared, know your material, you don't have those issues, and people have memorable moments.
Yes, sir.
They remember how you made them feel.
Yes, sir. So. Steve, this has been great. We about to go out of here, but before we leave, bro, play your favorite song, bro.
Ooh. What is my favorite song? I don't know if I have a favorite song.
Play a song that you love to play on organ.
Let's see. There's so many. Let's try. Let's see.
You can play more than one.
Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. Jesus, Jesus, always keep him on your mind. Always remember, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, always remember, Jesus, Jesus, oh. Always keep him on your mind. Always keep him on your mind. Always keep him on your mind. I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. If you would only trust me. Oh, trust me. Trust me. I have all power. I will deliver if you will only trust me. Trust me. Trust me. If you will only trust me, oh, trust me, trust me. All right, anyway.
We out.
We out.
Peace.